it was during, real COVID. So
Yeah.
I was just alone in my apartment for all of it. It was,
That's so crazy.
Yeah. So I would have to like record little acceptance speeches, just like in my, I'd
I
just
saw
be like
one of them. I think I think I saw your Obie acceptance speech.
Yeah, just like I was probably like in PJs and but put on like a collared shirt with pajama bottoms and
Yeah.
I mean it was awesome. It was anytime you make something, you're working so closely with people and you're becoming very close to them.
Mm-hmm.
And so for me the most moving part of that was that my entire team won an Obie. Like all of the actors, the director, all of the designers, we all won an Obie together.
Amazing.
And that was just so cool. Because it just felt like we were all in it together and we all had this, we were just going for this really hard thing together. And so that was the most meaningful part of that.
The first time I actually was put onto your work was by Orlando. Actually, we do this thing called a night of scenes here in New York, where actors come in, they audition, just do scenes, and we put them up in a theater in front of an audience, and it just gives actors an opportunity to get up and do some work. And Orlando did a scene from Heroes of the Fourth Turning, and it was amazing, nice. Absolutely amazing. And I was shocked that I didn't know what the play was.
But what scene is it? What's right at the top of Kevin?
Yeah. It was so it was so good.
Yeah.
It was so amazing, and it was wonderful to. And it was funny because I was rereading it, and I completely had forgotten that he had did it. I was like, oh my god, this is the scene that Orlando did. And it was really, really great. The success of Heroes, I would say a shift in your work in the kind of writing it is. Would you say Heroes is very different than Plano and all the other plays in the sense of it's more just more realism. I don't know, very much a piece about people just sitting around and talking about life. Obviously about being a bunch of it takes place during the Trump presidency, correct?
Yeah, 2017.
2017, and what was the inspiration to write that?
That one was again, I was writing all these plays at the same time, so it was like each play, I had no idea what the chronology was going to be when they were produced in, and if they were going to be produced at all. And so it's just trying to make them all like authentic to what the subject matter was. And in this case, because it's about these classically educated people who would have read, Aristotle, it felt like it had to be in conversation with like Aristotelian structure.
Mm-hmm.
And so then because of the subject matter and because, political plays, I think have a real, place and long history in New York, it felt exciting to create a kind of Trojan horse of a play that, looked and acted and sounded like plays that they were used to seeing, but then had not just the surprise of these conservative politics that kind of go unchecked in the play, but also structurally, I think it's a lot more elusive than it might seem on the surface. And there are also kind of supernatural things that are happening mm-hmm. that are just weaved in with a much more like delicate touch. The restrictions were a lot tighter on this play. I couldn't write with quite as much abandon and freedom and just be like, with Plano, it could be like, yeah, why not? This, yeah. But this was, I had to experiment in this other form. And it wasn't as fun. It was harder.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it was harder. Yeah. I was more miserable. Yeah. Yeah.